cupcakes. It's Stacys. This new series is called Storytime with Stacys, and this is where we draw a character, and I also write a story about the character and read you the story while we do the drawing. I wrote this story with the help of AI, so thank you to OpenAI, because we wouldn't be able to do this without you and your amazing creative tool. So let's get into the story. Today's story is called Lexa and the Comet, and it is about a character named Lexa, and she is based off of this month's Hunnys Seasons, which is designed around astrology signs. So she is designed off of the Libra sign, and everything that went into the character design is all revolving around the Libra sign. So I'm just going to start reading Lexa and the Comet. Lex was born under the sign of the Scales on a distant planet ruled by the powerful House Solomina. From a young age, she was known for her keen intellect and passion for justice. She had always dedicated herself to upholding the principles of fairness and equality. And as she grew older, became a respected intergalactic judge for the Atreides court. As a graceful and fair-minded woman, Lexa was the perfect and perhaps only suitable candidate for this critical mission. She stood tall with a graceful and poised demeanor. Her light pink hair, styled in a sleek straight bob, reflected her intelligence and professionalism. She had a symmetrical and beautiful face, with large almond eyes and full lips. She wore a set of balanced scales around her neck made of otherworldly metallic metal, and various jewelry equipped with specialized technology. Her expression was often serious and calculating, always appearing to be silently planning her next step. Lexa stood on the bridge of the diplomatic ship, gazing out at the hostile planet below, mentally preparing for what was sure to be a challenging mission. The planet below, named Vrekon, was in utter turmoil. As the ships descended towards the surface of the hostile planet, Lexa could see the rugged, barren landscape below. The ground was rocky and desolate, with jagged mountains and deep canyons. The air was thin and cold, with a bluish tinge. There was little vegetation on the planet, and the few plants that did exist were hardy and adapted to the harsh conditions. The wildlife was equally rugged, with large predatory animals roaming the hills and valleys. Lexa could see herds of massive four-legged beasts with shaggy coats and sharp horns that looked ready to hunt. Despite the inhospitable environment, the planet was home to a civilization of well-known sentient inhabitants. Lexa could see their settlements scattered across the landscape, built from rough, hewn stone and material. The people were known for their fierce independence. This made Lexa's job even more difficult, for despite the cultural demeanor, a massive comet was hurling towards the planet, threatening to wipe out all life on the surface. Lexa's task was to coordinate a relief effort, working with the hostile inhabitants to evacuate as many people as possible and provide aid to those in need. She knew it would not be easy. The hostile planet was known for its stubbornness and its reluctance to accept outside help. But Lexa was determined to use her skills as an intergalactic judge to make a difference. Lexa had her specialized drone companions, Marshmallow and Thog, by her side to assist her on the mission. Marshmallow was a small white drone with a round marshmallow-like shape. It had a cute face with large blue eyes and a smiling mouth. It was equipped with a projector compartment that allowed it to create holographic images and display data. Thog was slightly larger and more rugged than Marshmallow. It had a blocky rectangular shape with thick arms that could be used to carry heavy objects. Its computerized face had a smiling mouth and cute fangs formed in an underbite, giving it a friendly yet dopey appearance. Together, Marshmallow and Thog went with Lexa wherever she goes. They gathered data, surveilled areas, carried heavy items, recorded useful information, and provided companionship in hard times. The three had been on many missions together, and they had become invaluable to Lexa. As the ship descended towards the planet, Lexa took a deep breath and prepared for the challenge ahead. She began her landing preparations, checking her augmented reality glasses, making sure they were charged and ready to scan her surroundings. She also activated her silver pendant, summoning a holographic projection of her database of information. She had heavily prepared for this mission by studying the history of the land and the people below. Lexa's drone companions, Marshmallow and Fog, hovered at her sides, ready to assist her in any way they could. As they landed on the planet's surface, Lexa felt a sense of determination and resolve. She knew she had what it takes to succeed at this mission, and she was determined to do everything in her power to make that happen. As she stepped out of the ship, Lexa was greeted by a delegation of the planet's native people, called the Vrekken. The Vrekken were a tall, muscular race with thick, chitinous exoskeletons and sharp, claw-like fingers. Their faces were elongated and triangular, with glowing green eyes and sharp, jagged teeth. They had powerful, insect-like legs that allowed them to move quickly and agilely. This was Lexa's first time meeting the Vrekken in person or visiting their homeland Vreka, but she had studied them before, which is how she knew that the Vrekken are a species with a long and complex history. In their early history, they were a peaceful and cooperative race, living in harmony with their neighbors and sharing their resources. However, as their population grew, they began to face challenges related to food and resource scarcity. In response, they sought out help from other species, hoping to find allies who could provide them with the resources they needed. One such species was the Zool, a technologically advanced civilization known for their wisdom and knowledge. The Zool offered to help the Vrekken, providing them with food, water, and other resources. The Vrekken were grateful for the assistance, and they began to trust the Zool and rely on them for support. However, the Zool had ulterior motives. They saw the Vrekken as a potential threat, and they sought to weaken and control them. As the Vrekken became more and more dependent on the Zool began to exploit them, taking their resources and labor without giving back. They used their advanced technology and their knowledge of the Vrekken's weaknesses to help keep them in line. Over time, the Vrekken became disillusioned and resentful of the Zool. They realized they had been betrayed, and they began to see the Zool as their enemies. The long and bitter conflict that followed left the Vrekken weakened and vulnerable, and they were forced to retreat to their own planet. Their once flourishing land became a desolate and rocky world, scarred by the ravages of war and years of neglect. After the betrayal, the Zool began to spread false information about the Vrekken, painting them as hostile and aggressive. Because the Zool were a highly influential and persuasive people and controlled many high-ranking positions in the galaxy, their propaganda was widely believed. The Vrekken were seen as dangerous and untrustworthy, and other species began to fear and avoid them. As the Vrekken's reputation continued to deteriorate, they found it increasingly difficult to form alliances or trade with other species. They were forced to rely more and more on their own scant resources, and their isolation deepened. This only served to reinforce their reputation as a hostile and aggressive species, and the vicious cycle continued. Most people in the galaxy are unaware of the true history of the Vrekken and the betrayal by the Zool. They believed the propaganda and view the Vrekken as a threat to be feared and avoided. This has made it difficult for the Vrekken to regain their former status as respected and cooperative members of civilization, and they are often forced to defend themselves against those who seek to harm them. Now the Vrekken are at a crossroads. They are still a powerful and formidable race, but their isolation and hostility have left them with few friends and therefore vulnerable to outside threats. Despite their fearsome appearance and reputation, after her intensive research and preparation for this expedition, Lexa could see that there was far more to these creatures than their hostile exterior. She could sense their vulnerability and feel their empathy for their situation. She knew in her heart that they were capable of reasoning and negotiation. She would need to approach them with extreme care, because what she was up against was a decades-long series of hurt and mistrust for the Vrekken people. Lexa approached the Vrekken delegation with confidence, her white suit with pink pinstripes and silver scale-shaped buttons giving her an air of professionalism and authority. She could see the mistrust and hostility in their eyes, but she remained calm and composed. Lexa stepped forward, extending her hand in a gesture of peace. "Greetings, I am Lexa. a judge from the House of Salamina. I have been sent on a diplomatic mission to assist you in the evacuation of your planet. The Vrecken spokesperson, a towering figure with a fierce expression, hesitated for a moment before taking Lexa's hand. I am Zorath, leader of the Vrecken. We are grateful for your offer of assistance, but we must be cautious. Our people are proud and independent, and we do not take kindly to outsiders telling us what to do. Lexa nodded, understanding the Vrecken's hesitation. I understand your concerns, Zorath, but please understand that we are not here to dictate terms or take over your planet. We are here to help and to find a solution that will benefit both of our people. Zorath considered Lexa's words for a moment before nodding. Very well, Lexa from the House Salamina. We will hear your proposal, and we will work together to find a solution to this crisis. Lexa smiled, relieved that the Vrecken were willing to listen. Zorath and the Vrecken delegation led Lexa to their embassy, a large and imposing building made from rough-hewn stone and metal. Inside, Lexa could see that the Vrecken were highly organized and efficient people, despite their brutish appearance and reputation. They bustled about, conducting their business with extreme precision and efficiency. Lexa followed Zorath and the delegation into a large hall where she could see several important leaders gathered. There were leaders of various Vrecken clans, and they were responsible for making the final decisions on whether to accept Lexa's offer of assistance. Zorath gave a formal introduction for each high-ranking member of the council. The first was Gorgon, a Vrecken leader known for his fierce intelligence and ruthless determination. He is the leader of the largest and most powerful clan on the planet, the Unconquerable. He is not easily swayed by outsiders. He has a tall and muscular build with a chitinous exoskeleton that is hard as steel. His triangular face is elongated and fierce, with glowing green eyes and sharp, jagged teeth. Gorgon is not a man to be trifled with, and he will stop at nothing to protect his people. Next was Kala. Kala is a Vrecken leader known for her sharp mind and political savvy. She is the leader of a smaller clan, the Silk-Tongued, and is highly respected for her ability to negotiate and compromise. She has a slender and agile build with long and powerful legs that allow her to move quickly and gracefully. Her face is shorter, elegant, and refined, with the same glowing green eyes and chin. Kala is not afraid to speak her mind, and she is not easily intimidated by the larger clans. Finally was Narcus. Narcus is a Vrecken leader known for his strategic mind and tactical prowess. He is the leader of a clan of warriors called the Silent Maze Keepers, and is highly respected for his ability to plan and execute complex military operations. He is also tall and muscular, and has a scarred skin from many years in combat. His triangular face is fierce and intimidating. Narcus wears an eye patch with a unique symbol that Lex doesn't recognize, but assumes it is part of his clan. Narcus is not a man to be underestimated, and he will stop at nothing to protect his people. As Zorath introduced Lexa to the leaders, she could see the skepticism and mistrust in their eyes. She tried to remain calm and speak with confidence and authority. Gorgon turned to Lexa with a grim snarl of exasperation. "Why should we trust you, Lexa, House of the Salamina?" he asked gruffly. "You come to us as an outsider, offering your help, but we have no reason to believe that your intentions are pure. We have been betrayed in the past under the guise of puritanical foolery." Lexa remained composed, meeting Gorgon's gaze with confidence. "I understand your mistrust, Gorgon," she said, "but please consider that the House of Salamina has a long history of helping those in need. We are known throughout the galaxy for our compassion and honor. We have no desire to impose our will on your people, but we cannot sit idly by while nature makes the choice for us regarding the fate of your nation. The ultimate destruction of the Vrecken people would be a great loss for the galaxy. Ultimately, the geopolitical issues between the Vrecken and other races is a short-term issue in the grand context of our galaxy's security." Gorgon considered Lexa's words for a moment before nodding. "Very well, Lexa, from the House of Salamina," he said grudgingly. "Give us your pitch, then." Lexa nodded gratefully for the opportunity to speak and took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts before beginning. Gorgon leaders of the Vrecken, I come to you today with a proposal that I believe is in the best interests of our peoples, she said, her voice strong and clear. We are facing a crisis that cannot be ignored. A massive comet is hurling towards your planet, and it threatens to wipe out all life on the surface. We must act quickly and decisively if we hope to survive this disaster. I understand that you are a proud and independent people, and that you do not want to rely on outsiders for help. But I assure you, we are here to offer our assistance and expertise in the hopes of benefiting the entire galaxy, including you. We have the technology and the resources to evacuate your people and to provide aid to those in need. We have the knowledge and the experience to help you rebuild after the comet strikes. And we have the determination and will to see this crisis through to the end. I implore you, leaders of the Vrecken, do not let pride stand in the way of your people's survival. Accept our help, and together we can overcome this crisis and create a better future for all. Please let us work together to save the planet and ensure the continued existence of the Vrecken people. Lexa finished her speech with her heart pounding with anticipation. She waited for the Vrecken leaders to respond, with her gaze fixed on Gorgon. To her surprise, Gorgon did not immediately reject her proposal. Instead, he looked at her with a thoughtful expression, considering her words carefully. The other Vrecken leaders followed suit, with some nodding in agreement while others frowned in skepticism or whispered to each other. The discussion continued for what felt like a lifetime, with Lexa and the Vrecken leaders going back and forth, debating the merits of her proposal and raising concerns in protest. They refused to be swayed by her arguments, frowning and crossing their arms in disapproval. As the debate raged on, Lexa felt hopelessness growing. She had done everything she could to convince the Vrecken to accept her help, but they remained unmoved. She was on the verge of giving up when Marshmallow, her trusty drone companion, suddenly chirped and began to project a holographic image. Lexa turned to look at the holographic image, and her eyes widened in surprise. It was a map of the planet, with the projected path of the comet clearly marked. But there was something else on the map as well. A small, isolated settlement that was not marked on any of the Vrecken's maps. What is this? Lexa asked. Her curiosity piqued. Where did this settlement come from? Marshmallow chirped again, and a stream of data appeared on the holographic map. Lexa scanned the data, her heart racing with excitement. She realized that the settlement was not Vrecken, but rather a group of refugees who had fled to the planet years ago. They had been living in hiding, and the Vrecken leaders had been unaware of their existence. Lexa turned to the Vrecken leaders, her eyes shining with determination. Gorgon, leaders of the Vrecken, she said, her voice strong and clear. I have just discovered a settlement of refugees on this planet. They have been living in hiding, and the Vrecken have been unaware of their existence. They are in need of our help, and I believe that we can use our resources to assist them and ensure their safety. Gorgon and the other Vrecken leaders looked at Lexa with surprise and disbelief. They had not known about the settlement of refugees, and they were shocked by the news. How do you know this? Gorgon asked, his voice gruff and suspicious. Are you certain that the information is accurate? Lexa nodded, her confidence growing. I am certain, she said. Marshmallow has scanned the area and collected data on the settlement. They are in need of our assistance. I urge you to consider that there may also be more like them on the surface of Vreckon. The Vrecken leaders looked at each other. Their expressions were uncertain. Lexa understood from talking to the Vrecken leaders and researching them that despite their stubbornness in regards to themselves, they had displayed compassion towards other races and felt a sense of compassion for people who were cast aside like they were. The idea that the refugees were seeking safe shelter in their desolate planet that was feared and loathed by so many was one that warmed their hearts. Helping the refugees would not only be the moral thing to do, but it would also serve the Vrecken's own self-interests, as it provided the Vrecken a way to accept the help without it getting in the way of their pride. This quick idea by Marshmallow turned what was scary to the Vrecken into a selfless chance worth taking. Gorgon turned to Lexa with a grave expression. "We have come to a decision, Lexa of the House Solomina," he said, his voice deep and resolute. "We will accept your offer of help. We will work together to evacuate the refugees and provide aid to those in need. But we must make it clear that we do not accept your help without reservation. We will continue to assert our independence and protect our own interests." Lexa nodded. A relieved smile spread across her face. "I understand, Gorgon," she said. "We will work together to find a solution that benefits both of our people. I'm confident that we can make this happen." The Vrecken leaders nodded, their expressions solemn. They had made a difficult decision, but they knew that it was the right one. They would work together with Lexa to ensure the survival of their people and the refugees. And though the road ahead would be uncertain, they were determined to face it with strength and courage. As the evacuation and relief efforts continued, Lexa worked tirelessly with the Vrecken leaders to coordinate and organize the operation. Despite their initial reluctance, the Vrecken proved to be valuable allies, using their knowledge of the planet and their combat skills to protect the refugees and fight off any threats. With the help of Marshmallow and Thog, Lexa was able to access and analyze data from the Comet, allowing them to predict its trajectory and plan their evacuation efforts accordingly. She also used augmented reality glasses to scan the area and identify potential dangers, helping everyone to feel safe. Marshmallow now let Lexa know that Throg was a big help too in contacting the refugees, as there was a lot of big boulders that had to be moved out of the way, and Throg is really strong. In the end, the evacuation was a success. The refugees were safely relocated to a new planet, and the Vrecken people were able to rebuild their homes and communities after the impact of the comet. Lexa was hailed as a hero, and her reputation as a fair and just judge was cemented. She returned to the House of Solomina with a sense of accomplishment and pride, knowing that she had made a difference in the lives of many. The impact of this event on the relationship between the Vrecken and the rest of the galaxy was also significant. Prior to the disaster, the Vrecken were known for their fierce independence and their reluctance to help others around the galaxy. But by working together with Lexa and the House of Solomina to evacuate the refugees and provide aid, the Vrecken demonstrated their compassion and their willingness to cooperate with others. News circulated about the true nature of their history, and although some still dismissed it as conspiracy and maintained the prejudices they had about the Vrecken people, many saw their true nature that day and accepted the truth, rewriting the Vrecken history in their own minds and hearts to match. This helped to improve their reputation and their relationships with others in the galaxy. They were no longer generally seen as stubborn and intransigent, but as people who were willing to work together for the greater good. This helped the Vrecken and other planets and allowed for the development of stronger and more positive relationships throughout the galaxy. The end. So anyways, cupcakes, that is the story. That is Lexa and the Comet. I really hope you enjoyed the ventures of Lexa and Marshmallow and Throg and all of the cool aliens that were in this story. I had so much fun writing this and drawing the picture to go along with it. If you liked this format and you want to hear more stories about the characters that we're drawing for Hunnys Seasons, please do let me know in the comments, because this is all for you guys. I want you to have a great time. And yeah, if you're not part of the Honey Hive and you're just finding this video now, we do have a series of NFTs called Hunnys 10K that you can buy. I'll link them below. And if you own one, you get free art drops every single month. And those are the drawings that we're drawing on stream. So don't forget to just, come to the Discord and say hi. I love talking to you guys every day. And let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, all that fun end of YouTube video stuff that people have to say. We will see you cupcakes next time. Bye.